What's up guys, Hades here. So, we haven't done a power tier list for a while and the meta has changed. We have Medusa, we have Ninetails got buffed, we have Fully Prepared, we have Eternal Battle Lust on the ranges, for Medusa mostly, and Divine Blessing is on pretty much every Whale March. We already had Fully Prepared a little bit, but I don't think I represented it quite enough in the past. Now, the reason I know these teams are so strong is the new updated Throne of Supreme. This allows us to see what the top players are using, what type of build is being effective at the top. And we want to look at the number 1 and the number 2. These two players are quite significantly above the rest, and there's a reason why. One, they have just about everything you could want in the game, and they're good strategic players. Now, I don't have the screenshot for this team specifically because those screenshots need to be on my server, but I'm going to be representing this Alex with the Ares here. They basically do the same thing. Ares is debatably better in certain scenarios and Alex is debatably better in others. It is what it is. Now, what's happening here? The Ninetails got massively buffed. She got a flat buff with no compensation that 20% of your backline Immortals damage is increased, flat, without ultimates, instant. She already had the 10% trigger, so what that does is Loki is more likely to trigger an early infinite firepower. It's also going to hit 20% harder, and if he triggers it on the first 3 seconds, he also gets increased energy regen speed, which means he then gets to ult faster. So it's just a cascading effect of power for the Loki Ninetails combination. And then you'll see in reports like this, a lot of the times, Infinite Firepower is going to do almost as much as Realm of Lies. Now the reason Realm of Lies is doing way less is because of the new skill, Divine Blessing. Divine Blessing is reducing those ultimate skills by 40%, which is a really, really significant amount. If we go back and look at like the next teams, you know, the non-main teams, look at this. Most of the damage, 80% of the damage in fact, is Realm of Lies because that skill is no longer reducing at 40%, right? We look at another one, 60 million, 83% of the damage. It's pretty much just Infinite Firepower procs, you ult, they all die instantly. Look at this, 4 crits, 15 million, 12 seconds. All this information shows me exactly what happened in this fight. Even with the Holy Dragon, even with this, it doesn't matter. They're getting one-shot crit because there's so much damage being inflated into the game. The mains run the game, and it's really hard at the top end to have anything useful that's not something like this or something like this. Now, they do go back and forth, and that's not to say Medusa is weak, because when you look in another report, you look at something like this, you know, Shadow Dragon can get some, and again, the Loki Ninetails combo. But Medusa does the same thing in return, right? She pretty much ults, hits them hard, they're gone almost instantly, and that's kind of the way it plays out. And then here is that main versus main. 53 million. It's not a crit carry, or not this specific one. It's heavy, heavy physical damage. The new Eternal Battle Lust makes her really tanky and do a lot of damage. And it's very powerful, right? Ares as well, with Fully Prepared, becomes super tanky. You auto attack so fast with Wind Rage. You proc this extra, which means you get lots of Knight Through Butter attacks. But Alex is doing the same thing, right? So they're very similar. But the second reason Ninetails is more powerful now than Fufei is because Ares does break those bubbles on Fufei. So Fufei got a counter in Ares, and Ninetails got a buff and doesn't really have a counter, which is why I will be adjusting her into the top number 1 slot, because this is where this team belongs. And this is not the only player using it. When we look in the high scores, this player, rank 4, is also using it, beating some very strong players, right? Same thing here. Again, Alex or Ares, it doesn't really matter. If you have these really well developed, Loki really well developed, you're just gonna be stronger, right? And this isn't even maxed. And as you go through, you'll start to be like, oh wow, everyone's kind of using this, aren't they? Right? There it is, Loki Fufei. It doesn't have to be Ninetails. This is still very effective. And after doing a lot of evaluations, it pretty much just comes down to Loki carry with anything Loki has become the top tier. Now I will say the Medusa players are strong. They are strong. I'm gonna place them second. Oops, I kind of squished this one. I'm gonna place them second because that's where it belongs. Medusa is very powerful, and I think in time with some changes she will become number 2. Now because Medusa's in the game, a lot of the Medusa players stopped using Apollo completely. I had Apollo in the S tier. What I'm gonna do is slot him. I'm gonna put everything Loki in the S tier, because infinite firepower is not countered by divine blessing, which means it is more powerful than ever. Now let me put him at the top of A. Now my next point I want to talk about is this team right here. I want to put it in the A tier, and I want to give just a quick explanation why. You're gonna see on my server specifically, a lot of players have changed their build to use this team, and I have shown this team on my channel many times. I love Alex. Obviously you want knife through butter, but even without it, it can still be effective. Most of the players in the million range have this exact team, 50 dust or near max artifact, all the gear, and these 3 skills. If you have these 3 skills on Alex and you guard and you have everything I've shown in all the other videos, this team is very, very, very hard to beat. And it's very inexpensive. You only need the 2 because Alex doesn't need Fountain of Life. And because of that, he is going to be right here up in the A tier. Crazy. No chaos user. Only 2 legendary skills can be A tier. And right below all these other insane whale marches. But yeah, I hope you guys like these kind of videos, helping you understand the meta and what's important at this very moment. It will change over time. We have a brand new hero. I will be sending out a video on him probably right after this one. And if you like these kind of videos, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.